Hey everybody, how's it going? Matt with Freestand here. We got our first interview today with Vitaliy Kolos. He started Webdesi.com and is based in the Ukraine. Um, so yeah, Vitaliy, how you doing?
Hey, how are you? I'm awesome. How are you?
Doing pretty good, doing pretty good.
Great.
Um, so yeah, we could just hop right into it.
Sure.
What is Webdesi and what do you do exactly?
Yeah, web design, it's like a blog. Originally, I started it as just a blog where I posted stuff that I learned. Eventually, the more stuff I learned, the more stuff I wrote about and published on my blog. And it's like an archive of things I learned. I mean, originally that's how I launched it. But then what happened is that people started to, get in touch with me from the site. And I started generating some leads, some clients. So that's basically how it all started to work for me. So originally, again, it's just a reservoir of things I know, stuff I know, and now it's also helping me to get new clients. And what I do, it's SEO, search engine optimization, for the most part. And yeah, also I do some web development, web design, but mostly it's a search engine optimization because it's just something that I want to focus on at this point.
Gotcha, gotcha. And for those that don't know what SEO is, do you think you could give them a quick explainer to kind of the basics
Yeah,
of
well,
what you do?
yeah. Basically, SEO, search engine optimization, but simply, I mean, in simple terms, is just making sure that your clients, if you're working for a client, that the site you're working on, that it's findable by your target audience. Basically, you want to make sure that search engines can easily crawl it and display it in search results. And other than that, you want to create as many relevant backlinks as possible. And that's pretty much two things that you need to do in order to rock as an SEO guy or as a site owner.
Gotcha. Um, so yeah, so it's pretty much just helping people rank for relevant keywords
Yeah.
that are relevant to their business, right?
Yeah, sure. And again, my strategy is that you want to see what your competitors are doing and just try to follow the steps of your competitors, and basically, base your strategy or tactics based on what's working for them. Because the logic behind that, if it's working for them, chances are it's going to work for your site as well. But of course, you need to make sure that you are, you know. Checking the right sites and following the steps of the actual competitors, meaning your SEO competitors, because sometimes a direct competitor is not exactly, or maybe not. It's, I mean, it can be a competitor in terms of SEO, or it cannot be a competitor. So you want to make sure that you're actually, basing your decisions on the right site, on the site that ranks higher than you for your keyword, for your target keyword, for the keyword you want to rank for.
Gotcha, gotcha. And what exactly inspired you to get involved with SEO in the first place? Was there anything?
Yeah, Actually, before actually doing anything related to a search engine optimization, I was working at a web design company. Actually, I was a tech support rep, tech support operator for a web design company. And then when I was like working with people who called us, who joined our chat, many people were asking, okay, now I've built a website, now what? So what do I do to make it work so that I can see clients coming to me through my site? And in the beginning, it was very, confusing for me. I was like, okay, yeah, really. So what are they supposed to do to actually get actual traffic? So I started to Google for that, reading more about that, watching videos, and then I decided to basically, within the same web design company, I switched over to a marketing department. So, and there I learned from pretty smart SEO guys. Some of them are working in pretty well-known SEO companies now. That's actually where I learned most of my SEO, knowledge, most of my skills. But of course, with SEO, well, I believe with many things, but with SEO as well, you need to keep, learning, because if you learn something today and you learn nothing, and in a year you can pretty much start over, because many things can change, because some tactic worked, I mean, let's say it worked last year, now it can be considered like something that is like a thing of the past. So the bottom line with SEO, that you need to keep on learning. And I'm actually a big fan of Ahrefs, because they have a great YouTube channel, great blog, and I usually, use their tools for everything that I need in terms of SEO.
Yeah, Ahrefs is a great tool. I'll make sure to include
Sure.
the link in the description.
Yeah.
Um, so when did you get started? So you were working for this company, and then so you're working a normal 9 to 5, right?
Yeah, that's right. I was working normal 9 to 5, and I quit my job, my 9 to 5 job, like in 2013, I believe. Yeah, 2013. And then actually I quit it because that was the time when I actually got obsessed, really obsessed with for freelancing, that I can work from anywhere as long as the internet is available. And that got me thinking, okay, I'm working in an office and I do things that I can do pretty much from anywhere. So question is, why am I in the office? And then I just, decided to search for options, and there turns out there were options, as it turned out. And yeah, that's why I started to focus on freelancing, and no regrets at all.
That's awesome. So you're working at this job, you realize, okay, I can work with these same clients by myself. I don't need to be underneath a company, right?
Well,
Um,
not yeah. I should correct you a little bit here. It's not like with the same clients, with the same types of clients, because of course I could not just work with the same clients, because they were these companies' clients. So the idea was that I can do the same job, the same type of work with other people, but the same type of work. And actually, you know what I did? I didn't really, quit the job and then started to find my freelance clients. I basically was working, and I started to, you know, take on some freelancing job. And when I was quitting, I was pretty much earning the same amount of money that I was, earning at the office. So I was like, okay, so now it's perfect timing, and there's gonna be no issues for my budget or whatever. I just quit with the no issues at all.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think that's a really important point, um, because a lot of people, when they want to start a business, they're like, okay, I'm all in or nothing. I need to completely
Yeah,
quit the job. And I think they kind of need that layer of safety in order to make that jump first. I don't think it's smart to just jump into something blindly and say, oh, I got an idea 2 days ago. I want to start doing this. Um,
yeah,
yeah, I think it's far more important. I think that's a great example for people. Work your normal job, start to do
yeah,
some stuff on the
for
side,
sure.
see if you're good at it, see if you like it,
Absolutely.
and also see if you can generate enough income to sustain yourself. And then eventually, when you're ready, you could make the full hop. But
Yeah, and I should say, yeah, absolutely. And I should say that I actually read a bunch of books, not sure about the titles at this point, but a bunch of books on freelancing, what they recommended, like create a financial pillow that you have some, backup money just in case, just for a year. If everything goes really bad, have some money for a year. I mean, if no work is available at all. So that's the idea that well, it's not like I did it actually, but I did try to create some financial pillow.
what about working for yourself? Do you like more than working for the company? And were there things that you actually did enjoy more when you were working at the company?
Yeah, in terms of I may be missing in terms of, I mean, if we compare freelancing and working at an office, maybe, I don't know. Let me think. Let me think. Other than some office gossip, something like that. I don't know. Well, maybe yeah. Sometimes seeing people is kind of we are social animals. I mean, human beings are social animals. You want to see some human beings, talk to some human beings. Maybe that thing. But again, it's not like I needed to be at an office to talk to actual human beings, because what I started doing after going to freelancing totally, I started to work out of coffee shops, out of co-working spaces, and that allowed to talk to people and still do what you like doing. And since I started communicating with people like that, I mean, not in an office requirement, but still I was able to talk to people. So I guess I don't think I have anything missing, like you know
You were still
that
able
I
to
missed something that.
keep that social component by going to these coffee shops.
Maybe the social component, but you still can't do it without an office.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, because it's important for people to know. I mean, working independently sometimes can be extremely lonely, if we're being honest. Um,
Yeah, that's true. And actually, before the pandemic, like a year before this whole jazz started, I actually, that's why I mentioned that I don't really like winter. So I used to go to Thailand or in just Southeast Asia and spend winters there with friends who also are freelancers. So we were like working from some Thai islands. So it was a really amazing time. Hopefully, this whole jazz is gonna end or get better with this pandemic. So I'm really looking forward to getting back to normal in that regard.
that's amazing. So let's talk about that for a bit. So you went to Thailand.
Sure.
You go every winter since 2013. Have you been going to
Uh,
Thailand? Or?
Not exactly. Yeah, not exactly since 2013, but for the last 5 years. Yeah, that's what I've been doing, and that's a big thing because I'm not really a big fan of winter. Summer is good in Ukraine, but like I said, winter it can. I mean, now it's like snowy, cold. Not a big fan. But yeah, it is what it is now.
That's awesome.
And yeah,
Um, have you seen the website called Nomad List?
that rings a bell. Not sure how. I mean, when I checked it, but yeah, I know the site.
It's essentially it's like a website. This guy started it, I don't know, I think like maybe 10, 15 years ago.
Hmm.
But essentially, it just breaks down all the best places to go if you're a freelancer or you're working for
Hmm.
yourself and you can run your business remotely. And it just breaks down, like what places are safe, what places have good internet, time zone
Hmm. Yeah,
difficulty,
that's cool.
kind of all those things. But
I'll check it out.
yeah, I'll include that in the description as well.
Yeah,
Um,
thank
like
you.
a good resource for people. Switching gears. So,
All right.
what types of clients do you work with? How many clients do you have? If you could explain just a little bit about that, that would be awesome.
Yeah, basically, I like to work with from 3 to 7 clients. That's a comfortable amount of people to work with for me, because if it's more, it's like too much going on and really hard to focus. So yeah, that's what I try to do in terms of how many clients I work with. In terms of what kind of clients, well, it's usually small business owners. I would say, yeah, mostly small business owners, site owners or site admins, people who want to drive traffic to their sites through search engine optimization. Well, sometimes I also do web development, web design, but like I mentioned before, I really like to zero in more on SEO at this point. So yeah, that's do it.
Got it. So mostly small businesses, though.
Yeah, that's right. And actually, I currently uh, get clients mostly from Upwork, and since I started working pretty long ago, I was able to build some authority with my Upwork profile. So now I don't really need to search for clients that much. It's just I'm basically at this point getting invitations that are sent to me, and yeah,
Got it.
just like that.
Yeah,
So
just so
and
that was.
that's actually, yeah.
I was just gonna say that was the next thing that I was gonna hop into. How do you prospect new clients? How do you find new clients?
Yeah.
Um,
Basically, that's a funny thing because I wanted to use my site webdesi.com more for that. But the funny thing is that I get enough clients, and that's why my site is kind of suffering at this point in terms of not being worked on that much. I wanted to dedicate more time to that, but again, I'm happy to work with clients at this point, and it's really great that that there are, and you know what is funny? I mean, maybe not funny, but interesting is that since the pandemic, I notice there is more demand for people who work online. I can really feel it. So it's like, at least in the niche of search engine optimization, for sure, I can just I didn't get that many offers for work before as I'm doing now, as I'm having now, and I guess that's something to keep in mind for people when they consider whether it's a good time or not to start working online. And it's I guess that's a pretty good time to start doing that, because there's more demand, more people need help, and getting, for example, becoming a freelancer is a pretty good time now. But of course, the disadvantage can be that if you're starting right now, you will need to work on creating your, if we're talking about Upwork, you will need to work on your profile page. You will need to do some work so that you can have some reviews, positive reviews. And then once you build that up, people will start coming to you, and you will not need to, search for clients that much. I'm not saying that at all, but not that much.
Yeah, no, I agree. There are a couple things I want to break down and kind of unpack.
Sure.
So you talked about driving clients through Upwork. Just for those of you who don't know what Upwork is a freelance marketplace, and essentially you can go on there and find people that do all different types of work. So if I was to go on there and look for an SEO expert, Vitaliy would pop up, and he's referring to the ratings and reviews that he's built up over the last. How long have you been on Upwork for?
I guess that's 7+ years. Yeah.
So he's been on there for 7 years, and he's built a really good reputation, um, which essentially now you're saying is just driving the clients to you.
Yeah. Now basically I worked for the reputation, and now I can say the reputation works for me for the most part.
So so you put in, of course, many hours and years of work, built this good reputation, and now every single time people are looking for SEO experts, they're automatically directed to you.
Yeah, that's how it works.
I think the other thing that's important to note, I know you said that there's kind of been like a tailwind from the pandemic in terms of driving business your way and driving new clients. I think that's important to notice. I think that, or to talk about rather, that this pandemic has kind of set in motion some stuff that was kind of happening in the background. But essentially that, big companies and even small companies, it's much more acceptable for them to work with freelancers now, and to work with somebody, who's working out of their home, or, something like that, as opposed to working with one individual, as opposed to working with an entire agency. And I think this is going to become more and more true as we move forward into the future, as just different technical tools become available, so that the freelancer and individual can do better work, by themselves, kind of with less manpower. And also kind of this stigma breaks, that companies need to only work with companies, and, that they can work with a freelancer who can do, the same work, if not better work, than working with an agency of 25 people. So I think that's just important for people to know that I think definitely the world is moving in that direction, and it's becoming more and more acceptable. So there's just more opportunities for freelancers in general.
Yeah, not just for freelancers. I'm sure that business owners are benefiting from this as well, because you can find skillful people not just in the area where you are located, but pretty much across the globe.
We can maybe touch on your online courses that you've been working on a bit.
Sure.
I know we talked about it a little bit before we started recording. So yeah, if you want to dive into that a little bit, explain kind of what type of online courses you've developed and kind of where you see them going, moving forward.
Yeah, basically I did a bunch of courses within the last, 7 years that I've been freelancing. I made a course on WordPress SEO, then Squarespace SEO, like link building. And currently not currently, I just released it a few weeks ago, a course on Shopify SEO, which is an interesting topic for me because it looks that Shopify is getting traction, and there are more and more people who might be interested in that sort of content. And the idea behind creating courses and why it's interesting, at least for me, is that it's kind of all about this passive income thing, that you can create something and it it earns you money when you sleep or something like that. When you well, this idea, this idea is basically derived from the fact that when you are a freelancer, of course you can work on creating a financial pillow, like I mentioned before. But the problem that I don't, that's one of the things that I'm not really happy when it comes to freelancing, is that when you get sick, okay, there's no work done, so nothing is happening. So that's why I think it's like a good idea to have something that will passively generate some sort of at least basic income that you can um, have when you just cannot work actively. Because
Yep.
as long as I can work with clients, I'm happy and so on. But God forbid something happens, then it's going to be tricky, really tricky. And I want to have something that will actually generate some income, revenue, when I'm sleeping, when I'm not actively working. When I'm flying in a plane to Thailand, something should generate money for me. So that's the idea.
Yeah. As opposed to trading hours for dollars, you can
Yeah.
actually just have something making money for you. Yeah.
Yeah, and in terms of courses, it's funny. I mean, it's not funny again, but what I like about it is that I create courses about the stuff that I know anyway. So
Hmm.
it's not like, like I need to spend a lot of time learning about something. I know some stuff about all sorts of SEO aspects. And when it comes to creating a course in Shopify SEO or Squarespace SEO or WordPress SEO, it's still SEO, is just different ways to implement it in terms of technical SEO, but the rest is the same. So it's not something that would require a lot of time to create. And again, my idea is that I should have something that is passively generating revenue when I'm not actively working.
Absolutely. Okay. I think that covers it.
All
Vitaliy,
right.
thank you so much for coming on. The very first
Yeah.
episode, I don't know
Yay.
if you want to call it an episode, but an interview. So we'll be doing a lot more of these. And yeah, Vitaliy is a great example. So would you consider yourself as a freelancer or like a digital small business owner? What would you kind of, you know, I don't know if Webdesi has like a LLC or something.
Well, I would say that officially, I guess I'm just a freelancer at this point because, I'm based in Ukraine, and can be a little tricky to set up a company like an LLC in Ukraine. It's kind of a little different. But again, yeah, I mean, at this point, I'm a freelancer, but again, I just want to, along with doing active work, like promoting sites and so on. I want to, get a bit more serious about this courses idea and so on. And regarding the first episode, I'm really flattered that I'm participating in your first episode. I'm really flattered.
All right.
Thanks.
Well, thanks for coming on, and I'll be talking to you soon. Vitaliy and I actually work together on the side doing some SEO work, so um, I will talk to you shortly. Thank you,
All right.
Vitaliy, and
Thank you.
see you later.
See you later. Thank you. Bye bye.